Welcome back, everybody, to FMForward 2020 Summit. I'm glad that you've all come again to enjoy the day. Let me start by saying that the work that IFMA Boston has been doing to be the expert resource for facilities managers in Boston area could not be done without the support of our annual partnerships. Their funds each year go directly to underwriting our programming and for allowing all of our members to attend for free. So please show your thanks by visiting them all on the Hoover app today, checking out their services, offerings, and products at their virtual booths. We also have a new podcast recording video, depending on how you would like to view it, of a recent sit down Tom did with our exhibitors talking about the pandemic. It is not up yet, but will be in the next few weeks. So you can see that on social media. It's worth listening to. We would also like to thank VVA project and cost managers specifically today for underwriting this year's summit. Your support is so greatly appreciated. So thanks so much to them. The format today will continue as the same as it did yesterday. We will start with our tech talk, followed by a breakout session moderated by one of our exhibitors or board members. We will then have our best practice session again with a few breakouts. You can provide any questions that you have for the speakers today through the Hoover app and continue the conversation offline. Let me introduce you today to our tech speakers. We have Tim Currier, Regional Facilities Manager of Bozzuto, and Michael Zeppieri, Director, Innovation Services from Skanska. You can read both of their full bios in the Hoover app. And welcome, gentlemen, and take it away.
Great, Joy. Thank you very much. So first, Tim and I want to express our gratitude to the Boston chapter of IFMA for giving this opportunity to present to all of you. And what we're going to share today is an innovation that Tim and I collaborated on for the Harlo building in Boston. So the Harlo is the product of Skanska's commercial development division. So Skanska is a global CM, and we have a lot of different business units, and one of those business units is actually commercial development. So this was a commercial development property built by Skanska USA Building in partnership with our CD group, and the organization that I work for within Skanska USA Building is, at its core, a virtual design and construction organization. So as most CMs have, they have a core group of people who are technical practitioners in BIM and VDC. So VDC stands for Virtual Design and Construction. BIM stands for Building Information Modeling, if you're not familiar with those acronyms. But essentially, it's the models that builders use as the drawings for not only constructing the building, but doing things like coordination, clash detection, 4D sequencing, visualizations. I mean, most of the things that you would expect a CM to do with models. But one of the things that we have learned in recent years is a focus on what we can do to better help our owners with this problem. So, what we've come to understand is that from the perspective of the facility manager, this is what turnover looks like. So through the construction process, we are capturing a wealth of information that's useful to the facility operator. The O&M manuals, the warranties, the spec sheets, as-built drawings. I mean, there's a ton of information, and back in the day, this is what turnover looked like. The CM would deliver a pallet of all that information in boxes, and then the facility manager had to make sense of all of it. And that paradigm has not really shifted just because we've digitized the process. So turnover from the CM side, you've got someone on the construction side, they have a contractual obligation to provide all the information, but they're not necessarily thinking about how to structure that information in a way that is usable to the facility manager. So I'm going to pause here and watch the chat window in the screen share in the Zoom meeting, but I'm curious, for those who are attending who are facility managers, for how many of you does this ring true? That when you turn over a building, it's typically a dumpster diving exercise for you to find the information that you need when you need it. So I'm just going to watch the chat to see if anyone kind of affirmatively responds to that, just saying that that's something that resonates with them. Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm getting deal with it all the time. Okay, so good. So that's our understanding, is that there's an opportunity here, and we can do better. So our team formulated a hypothesis around a solution that would work for the majority of our clients, and it just so happened that the CD project at the Harlo was being erected and constructed at the time that we kind of formulated this solution, and that's when we met Tim. So I'll turn it over to Tim so he can introduce himself. And Tim, if you might be on mute if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks, Mike. So thanks again, Mike, for the introduction. My name is Tim Currier. I'm the Regional Service Manager for Bozzuto Management. We are based out of Maryland, but I am based out of the Boston office. So we opened Harlo in 2017 with Skanska, and working with Michael and his team, we were able to integrate this platform into our daily list of products that we use and make it better for us. So we were able to use a lot of this information that Michael was talking about and have it, rather than dumpster diving, we were able to go through and use a lot of this information very seamlessly with a lot of the current platforms that we're using. The integration was phenomenal, and we were able to get all this data with the convenience of a mobile device. And, prior to that, we didn't always have that luxury. So this implementation was really great to have. And, working with Michael and his team from Skanska made it really easy to do. And, having all the turnover documentation was great. So I'm sure a lot of you in the industry can understand this. And, how many of you have had this opportunity to work with a construction manager in the past and get this information like this? I'm just going to pause for a second and see if anything comes up in the chat. Okay, some. My second question would be, how many facility managers would love to have this opportunity to work directly with the CM in this regard, to have this information provided to you as seamlessly as I did? Yes, I'm sure a lot. We're getting a lot of yeses. So with that answer, I'll turn it back over to Mike.
Okay, so I'm going to actually play a video of the tool that we implemented for Tim. So this is Autodesk BIM360 Ops. It's a work order management system, and there's many work order management systems that are great for solving different needs. What we liked about this one is the ease to implement and low cost. So a lot of facility managers don't have infinite budgets to implement these systems. So if you have nothing but you're looking for a solution that would allow you to wrap your arms around work order management, this is a great product. What Autodesk did was they built it mobile first. So they built the mobile application, and then they built the back end around the mobile experience. So I'm just going to play the video so you can kind of get an appreciation for the user interface. But it's tile-based navigation. It works great on your iPad or your iPhone, and it has a couple of key features that we think are very useful. So one is the search feature. A lot of it is search driven, so it allows you to get to the information that you need when you need it from your mobile device. It allows you to pull up the entire maintenance history of all of your assets, and then all of the associated documentation to those assets. You can take photos or videos directly from your phone and append them. So if you wanted to perhaps capture a desk instruction or a work instruction and associate it to an asset, like this is how you perform this particular task, you could do so you can get some of the tribal knowledge of your facility managers documented in one system. You can set up an occupant interface. So if you want your occupants to directly provide work order tickets, if they see something wrong in the building, it gets it on your screen. You can set up preventative maintenance schedules with checklists, which is what this is showing here. So let's say you're doing a monthly elevator inspection, and there's a certain number of steps that are associated to that inspection. You can set up a schedule as simple as if you were setting up a recurring meeting notice in your Outlook calendar. but then you can also associate a checklist with it. So if any of the items on the checklist were to fail, it then triggers the facility manager to create a ticket to resolve the incident for where it failed the checklist. So you have this great audit history of your preventative maintenance. You can upload your drawings in PDF form. You can also, if you're BIM savvy and you want to have 3D model viewers on the tool, that it could be that could be accommodated as well. So a lot of capability under the tool, and beyond just facility managers, your capital programs and program managers love this tool because all this data is consolidated in a very transparent reporting feature. So it allows you to start doing things like data analytics around things such as, let's say, as part of a standard design for a building, maybe there's a particular piece of equipment that's been problematic and its trending is problematic across multiple buildings in your portfolio. So maybe that's a red flag that you wouldn't want to, incorporate that in your design documents on future buildings. Or, maybe there are, cost analyses you want to do, cost per square foot, cost per tenant, cost per student. Having that data in a system like this allows you to start doing analysis as an aggregate level. So, as much as this tool provides a lot of capability to facility managers, there was one interesting requirement that Tim brought to the table that was kind of unique to Bozzuto that I want to give him a chance to speak to before we talk about how we addressed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the utmost importance to me was the seamless integration between the current platforms that we use, Building Link, ComVibe, and as much as we like the user experience of BIM360, the integration was the real differentiator for Skanska solution, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, so what's great about the relationship that Skanska has with Autodesk is we're able to tap into their network of developers to build custom integrations. So building ops, BIM360 Ops has an API integration that allows you to talk to other systems. So we were able to take, basically the requirements that the client requested and, build a workflow to those business rules. So this is just a quick summary of what Tim requested. But basically what you wanted was every time a ticket was created in Building Link, you wanted it sent over to BIM360 Ops. And then when the ticket was triaged from the facility manager on that side, the status sent back to Building Link. So that your tenants were interfacing with the tool that was native to them, but then the facility managers were able to interface with the tool that was native to the facility managers. And we were able to do this through our partnership with Autodesk and the APIs to build that integration between BIM360 Ops and Building Link. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Tim, and he's going to talk about some anecdotal problems that this solution was able to solve for him.
Yeah, so there's a couple of experiences that we had with this, in the very beginning that I wanted to share. And we had a resident complain about a noise in a tenant's bathroom. So we went and investigated it. And before we dug deeper and, cut drywall open and, did all that messy work, we were able to use this platform to identify what was in the wall behind the toilet and identify that there was a ductwork for an ERU. And by having this platform on mobile, you could do it right from the apartment and identify what the piece of equipment is, where it goes. And with this information, we were able to determine that there was a problem with the ERU, and therefore not having to open up the wall and not cause disruption to the resident. We were able to follow the drawings right from the app and, make the necessary repairs at the equipment on the roof. And it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it because you have it right there. It's not, okay, hold on, let me go back to my office, dig through the plans, try to figure out what's going on there. It was right there, super simple. And like I said, it takes a lot of the guesswork right out of it. Another incident was during just a regular preventative maintenance inspection that we had set up in BIM360 Ops. We had a gas booster, and during that inspection, we found that it was an alarm. So with this discovery, we were able to go right into the app and find all the information of who the installer was, the manufacturer, and get that fault identified quickly and solve the problem before we had major incidents throughout the property. And again, it was super easy. Everything was right there on the app, and we had all this information at our fingertips ready to roll. And like I said before about following the 3D drawings, we also had another, with this property, there was retail space on the first level. So we had sewer ejection pumps on this first level, in the basement level, that were tied into the retail space, but at the time we weren't aware of that. So we were able to follow the 3D drawings and identify that the retail was in fact tied into this ejection system, and revise the preventative maintenance program for that system based on the fact that the retail was also tied into that and not directly out to the sewer system itself. And by having those 3D drawings, we literally stood right there in the garage and was able to, again, follow the drawings and identify all of these things in 3D, which, it's amazing, because besides that, you would have to go back to your office again, dig through plans, try to figure all these things out. And with this system, everything was right there, and it was super simple. One of the other great things about this system and working with Skanska and their team is we were able to identify all the equipment in this building. At some of our other buildings, they have exhaust fans. So there's 40 exhaust fans, and all of them are labeled EF1. Okay, well, which EF1 is the one that's the problem if they're all labeled the same? So again, working with Michael and his team and creating this system, taking the construction documents and putting all of this information into this app, it was super simple. Everything was identified, and we were able to create specific programs based on these specific pieces of equipment flawlessly. So just to summarize some of the benefits, it's complete, it's accurate, the accessibility is super simple, and the information was seamless. The transition was seamless between construction and having all the manuals, the warranties, the drawings, all in one place that was operational for us to use whenever we needed it. And the support that we got from Skanska to tweak and modify this system to fit our specific needs was amazing. I can't thank them much more than I already have for the way that this worked out. It's very easy to go to a specific piece of equipment and find everything that you need to reconcile anything that comes up along the day-to-day. And having that is just amazing. And the fact that you have this tool that's mobile and that you can take photos and videos and leave this information there for future reference, whether it's myself and it's 2-3 years down the road, or someone else that has taken over the building after myself, the information is there, and you can customize it again to fit the specific needs, which was amazing. I can't speak highly enough about this system and how simple it was to use, and to, again, modify it as needed to fit all the specific needs that we had. And all of this information is right there. Again, videos, photos, manuals. You don't have to go back to your office, and you don't have to, dig through piles of paper to find the information that you need. Everything is there that you need to do anything in that property. And like I said, it was amazing, and I can't speak highly enough about it.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
So, in summary, to close the presentation, the value of this solution beyond, low cost to implement is, the total life cycle cost savings that you will realize just by merit of the fact that you're implementing a, more proactive work order management system that allows you to get visibility, and by putting the tools in the hands of your people in the field, you're getting better data, you're getting more responsiveness, better program management, across the board, quicker resolution. So when you put, a tool like this in the hands of people who are out in the field, they're able to triage and resolve problems quicker. And as most of you can appreciate, a lot of buildings that tend to manifest themselves in a building the longer they're left to fester, the greater the damage and the bigger the cost implications. So quick resolution when it comes to triaging problems in buildings is typically a good thing. On-site access, so Tim has hit on this point a number of times. Being able to do all this from the convenience of a mobile device, immediately usable. So having a tool that allows you to maintain your facility the moment that the building is turned over to you. So there's not that delay that you typically see of weeks or months where you're having to set up interim solutions with spreadsheets or what have you. You've got a fully functional system that allows you to start maintaining your building and doing some of those pre-occupancy checks, warranty checks, and some of the other things that are important to you in those critical first months of occupancy. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times we've heard that equipment was replaced that was under warranty because someone just didn't have eyes onto the fact that it was still under warranty. So some of those critical cost drivers in those early months of occupancy, this gives you a tool that allows you to do that. And at the end of the day, you get happier tenants. You got a more responsive, transparent system that they can see the status of their tickets, simplifies their ability to submit tickets to your facility managers. You get a lot of satisfied occupants. And as a closure, I took a look at who was attending this presentation, a real interesting mix of attendees coming from a lot of different organizations. So as much as Skanska is a CM, we also have a consulting arm where we don't necessarily need to be the builder to have a conversation with you around how to implement the system and like this. And we've actually been looking at ourselves at applications of this particular tool for things like COVID responsiveness. So how do you maintain an office or a building or a location in a post-COVID world where there's now government regulations around, just doing cleaning procedures. So if that's of interest to any of the attendees around, some of the COVID applications we're seeing, or just want to have a conversation to go deeper into what we presented today, feel free to reach out to Tim or I on the app. So that closes our presentation. I hope everyone got a lot out of it, and thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to both Michael and Tim. That was great. I didn't even want that to end. I'm sorry we only had 20 minutes. You've given us a lot to think about in streamlining our process. And as we did yesterday, we're now going to divide you into breakout groups with a few questions posed by our speakers to allow you the opportunity to both network and begin to apply the best practices presented today to your own facility and organization. So we're going to have 3 questions that your moderators have, but I'll just go over them very quickly. If you had the opportunity to influence the structure and inventory of data you receive at turnover, what would you ask for from the construction manager? The next one is, what would your ideal work order management system be, and what would be the features most important to you? And the third, what are some of the inefficiencies you face in finding the data you need when you need to perform building operations and preventative maintenance?